an interrelated multi-story horror epic about the disappearance of high school students in a small town. Well. You have my curiosity. Now you have my attention. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Real Movie Lovers, a video podcast about real filmmakers having real conversations about real topics like movies, TV, current events, tech news, and more. So I'm your host Lisa, filling in for me, and my co-host who is on hiatus right now, Fahad. Anyway, I'm like fumbling my words. I get 1 week off, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. So all right, let me calm down. I'm good. So I had last week off. I enjoyed my week off. Went out of town for my birthday, which just passed. It was this week. So I'm 1 year older, 1 year wiser, hopefully. Okay, I'm in a goofy mood right now. Or am I always goofy? We'll see. Anywho, doobity. Let's get right in today. I'm so excited to be back. Now, what have I checked out in my absence? I finally got around to watching Demi Moore's movie, The Substance. And let me tell you guys, the body horror, on point. I get it. 100%. And I enjoyed it. I'm not afraid of body horror. Now, I don't like too much gratuitous is a lot for me, but regular old creative body horror, especially practical effects body horror, I'm here for it, people. Okay. So, The Substance follows an aging actress, who's becoming less, relevant. So she decides to take a drug, a black market drug, to create a younger, more prettier, voracious version of herself. I didn't realize that it technically created a second person that she's linked to. It wouldn't really be her. I mean, it is her, but it's not her. Like, she doesn't have the memories. She doesn't know what's happening, that type of thing. Now, the thing that got me about this movie is maybe I missed it, but I didn't see her pay for it. I never saw her pay for it. They just kept delivering it. So was she just a test subject? Basically, she has 7 days where she is living as herself, and then 7 days where the younger version of her gets to live, and it's getting deals and modeling contracts and all that kind of stuff. So they're supposed to only each take 7 days, but the younger version takes an extra day. It took a few extra hours one time. And it made one of her fingers like turn ugly, disgusting, like it was thick and riddled. And she had to call the company like, hey, once the change happens, you can't, it's irreversible, but you can only do 7 days on, 7 days off. If you take an extra day, that means you're taking extra. So needless to say, the young version of her starts getting more and more going on with her life, living life. So she starts taking more and more, and she starts staying out longer because it's supposed to be 7 days she gets to live, and then she goes to sleep. And then Demi Moore's version has 7 days, which, let me get the other name of the other actress. I'm just saying her. So it's Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. Hopefully I'm saying it right. She did a really good job. They both did. But it has disastrous effects, and it was done very well. Again, the body horror was crazy. Now, I'm not it's not like Saw body horror, you know what I mean? You're not going to be having, it's not that degree. This body horror is just deformity, if anything. For a big part of it is deformity. So, I think you'll be able to handle it. But it is such a very unique story. It's unique to me, for sure. I love how they handled, the price of beauty, the price of of wanting to stay in the limelight and be young. When your time passes and you want to re-enter that time again, what are you willing to give up? Because at some point, Demi Moore, even though she has this younger version of herself, she's not enjoying the perks of it. She doesn't get to see and live in that, oh, we love you. She's not really technically there. It's Sue, the other version of her. So what so desperate to hold on to that, even though you can't really experience it yourself per se, you're willing to just take a chance. Now, there was the one part in the film towards the end where I'm just like, okay, there is one part that's like super gratuitous with its, you know, blood and gore. And there are a couple of times where like the messaging was really like, I described it online to my friends, like in your face, obvious Dragon Ball Z style. Obvious, like stating the obvious messaging, but only a few times. And it was still fun. Dennis Quaid is in it. So he did such a good job as a character. You're like, I don't like this guy. I can't stand him. Can somebody punch him in the face? Every time he was on screen, you wanted someone to punch him in the face. At least I did. So other than those couple of like in your face messaging and like the gratuitous like one scene of like overabundance use of carry levels of buckets of blood, that's as much as I can say. I love the film and I recommend it. I think it's a good one. Demi Moore did a good job. Do I feel like Oscar nomination worthy? I love the story. And you know what? Yeah. Demi Moore deserves Oscar nomination for this. I do. Or Golden Globe, whatever nomination she got. I think she got one already. I agree with it. Yeah, well deserved. Now, after checking out the substance, I had some time. I needed to myself revisit the younger, vivacious me. And I dived into the teen antsy drama XO Kitty season 2, which is a spinoff of the To All the Boys I've Ever Loved movie series starring Lena Condor. Love those films, those characters, and that world. Love. So when I found out her younger sister Kitty was getting a spinoff, I was right in it. So To All the Boys I've Ever Loved is about a teenage girl who she writes love letters to crushes, but she never mails them. But inadvertently, somebody takes those letters and mails them to all her crushes, turning her life upside down, but in the best way. When I tell you I love this movie, and dare I say, top 20. It's been a while since I laid out my top 20 movies. I'm going to sit down and see if it makes the cut, because I got some good ones. All right. So that movie, basically, in the Lana, the girl, she had 2 other sisters, and her younger sister was one of the meddlers that kind of, had the letters be sent and everything. But it turned out anyway, and they had 2 extra movies. So now that younger sister is older, and now she has her own series where she goes to Korea, because they're Korean, to try to get in touch with her mother's roots. Like, her mother died when she was little, so she didn't really get to know her. She went to the same school as her and had a whole new set of friends. And she had a pen pal who was her boyfriend. They had met in Korea when she visited years ago, and they just kept sending letters. And when she gets there, ish hits the fan in the biggest way. So she's trying to uncover who her mom was. She's trying to figure out what's going on with the boy that she's been pen paling for a couple of years. She's making new friends, learning more about her culture and all other stuff. And the drama is drama-ring, okay? The drama is drama-ring, all right? So season 1 was great. So they came out with season 2. Oh, I binged that. I don't like binging, like, because after I binge, I just feel like, what have I done with my life? You know what I mean? But it was my birthday week, so I allowed myself the luxury of binging XO Kitty, which I did. And the drama ramped up. They ramped it up, okay? So The love triangles are crazy. They're switching about. I mean, they're young. They're in their, what, 20s, early 20s? Well, in the show, how old are they in the show? Their characters in the show, I think, are supposed to be maybe in their late teens. I think. Feels like 17, 18. Feels like it. Don't quote me. Maybe 20-ish. So, but the point is, the hormones at that age, everybody's into everybody. Okay? So I got my fill of my teen young angsty drama love series. And if you are a fan of that and liked those To All the Boys I Ever Loved movies and also like season 1, you're going to love season 2. It just continues to be great. And they teased at a possibility of a season 3. Now, it hasn't been greenlit just yet, but fingers crossed. And finally, I rounded off my binging with Sierra Burgess is a Loser, which is a Netflix. Oh, by the way, To All the Boys I've Ever Loved and XO Kitty, all Netflix. They're all on Netflix. I think they're Netflix originals. Like Sierra Burgess is a Loser, where a teenage girl ends up, I guess, the loser, socially of the school, ends up by accident becoming like text pals with a popular hot guy from another school. And she and the popular mean girl of her school, who she's posing as in the text messaging thing, it's a whole trying to keep that facade going while you're growing feelings for the person you're talking to, even though I think they're speaking to somebody else. It's a mess, but it's a teen romantic comedy. It has to be a mess. And so that's what I did with my time. Got grossed out and visited the teen angsty dramas. What have you guys been watching? Let me know. Now, on to our first story of the day, the week. Hey guys, quick aside. If you like what you're seeing and you like what you're hearing, feel free to give the video a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can always be up to date on what's going on. And for those who don't know, I'm a writer, director, and producer with my own series, The Zombie Chronicles, which you can also check out on Amazon Prime or Tubi. And I am offering a screenwriting intro class March 1st. This is a class for beginning writers, those who want to write, or for experienced writers who need a refresher. We're going to be covering the basics of screenwriting, storytelling, characters, and dialogue. And it's going to be online, so you can access it from anywhere. And those looking for a way to help support further, you can check out my Patreon, NXG Global Productions, where I discuss more movie reviews, access to clips of my writers group recordings, first look at behind the scenes, shout outs on social media, posts, and more. I'm looking to grow the community and would love to have you be a part of it. Plug over. It is a show pony exercise. Quentin Tarantino condemns the current state of the movie industry. Do tell, Quentin. Do tell. So basically, he is not happy with how things are being run in the movie industry. He's released 9 movies, and we know that he wanted to release a 10th movie. But instead of diving into his 10th movie, he is now actually thinking about diverting and doing a play instead. And holding off on this 10th movie simply because of how the state of things are, is what it appears to be. He says, oh, well, okay. So I'm going to read some of his quotes, but he's a fan of the F-bombs, so I'm going to be hopping over those. The whole process is a show and pony exercise as far as what movies have become. What the F is a movie now. Something that plays in theaters for a token release for 4 effing weeks. All right. And by the second week, you can watch it on television. I didn't get into all of this for diminishing returns. It was bad enough in 2019, and that was the last effing year of movies. He likes that F-bomb. And if you've seen his movies, you'll agree. That was a crap deal as far as I was concerned. The fact that it's gotten drastically worse and it's a show and pony exercise. Now the theatrical release, and then in 2 weeks, you can watch it on this streamer and that one. Now, he is obviously frustrated, and it makes sense. There's a shifting of tides. There's a shifting of how things are done. And not everyone is happy about change. I'm somebody who treats change like it's my mortal enemy. Change in time. I treat them like they're my mortal enemies. But time, not in the way that you would think. Not like with aging. That's natural. I'm talking about if it says I have an hour till I have to leave, I'm like, great. How much can I cram in that hour without going over an hour? And so far, it's me 0, time 1 million. But to return back to Tarantino, he also criticized Marvel movies, saying that they're formulaic and suggesting they have contributed to the death of the classic movie star. Okay, here's where I'm going to step in. Now, Quentin Tarantino is one of my favorite directors, I'm going to step in here and say that on a whole, the system of storytelling is formulaic. You have Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 in a movie. Generally. There's exceptions to every rule. And normally Act 1 is the introduction to the character, the call to action. Act 2 is the longest act. Generally, it's the adventure. It's what's happening. And then Act 3 is the resolution. So that is formulaic in itself. Now, I think he's talking more rigid, as far as like characters. And the fact that it's always, okay, one alien beam in the sky comes. They have to fight, defeat it. So in that instance, it's kind of like, a cookie cutter production. So I kind of get what he's saying with that. I also do enjoy the superhero movies. I was a big fan of the whole renaissance of them and the 10-year run that Marvel had leading up to Endgame when they just knocked out the park. They have since declined and but I feel like part of that is the fact that Endgame was such a grand finish. They had spent 10 years building up these characters through storylines and finding ways to connect them, that anything coming after that had huge shoes to fill, and it wasn't going to be easy to just carry over that whole audience again. So, and then of course there was like the TV shows that they started throwing at you that you had to keep up with, and then it became too much. Even for me. So, but again, moving off Marvel, going back over here, as someone who grew up, 90s, raised in the 80s, 90s kind of thing, the movie theater going experience is still awesome. It's still awesome. It's that communal gathering of watching the movie, whether it's a horror movie, an action movie, a love story, a comedy. It really infuses community, and I do miss that. I go to the movies, but nowhere near as often as I used to. I'm way more busy than I was before. Movies cost more. I have a huge family. Sometimes if I want all of us to go, we kind of have to pick like, okay, all right, there's like 3 movies coming out that we want to see in a month span. But there's a lot of us. I'm not dropping $100 3 times. So we need to pick one and go with it. And then, of course, streaming has also spoiled us, because it is like, oh, snap, I missed it. I'll just wait for streaming. Or you want to see it in the theaters, because there are movies that I want to see in the theaters because of the communal experience. Like a horror movie is so fun to watch in a group of people. So fun. A good comedy. is fun to watch as well. But comedy right now is it's not on life support. It's definitely thriving, but it's thriving in different subgenres, like comedy and action movies, comedy and romance, but like a straight on its own comedy movies. They're out there, but they're just not at the pace as they were. So, but it's fun because like when laughing is infectious. So you're in a theater, everyone's laughing. Yay! So I get it. I get it. And he said that he was gonna make one more movie, 10 movies, like one more movie, and then he's gonna be done. But he doesn't even seem like he wants to make that 10th movie right now. Like, he doesn't like the state of the industry. I don't think it's changing, But like, think about it in this way. I'm gonna just say 1900s because I don't have the exact frame, and I hope it's 1900s and not earlier. But at one point, ladies and gentlemen, they would go to pay like a little nickel or a pence or whatever, put in a little viewer, look through, and they would just kind of like, oh, watch a 1 minute little created film through the viewer like this way. Then there were stages, there's theaters, and then it was movie theaters, and then it was the pendulum's come back because everything's a cycle. So we've gone right back to looking at little screens again, except now it's in our palm of our hand. We don't have to go anywhere. And I don't know if movie theaters, with everything going on, will return to their former glory. At least not in my lifetime, but I don't see them dying because people still love movies and community. I just don't know how many there will be. You know what I mean? Like if there was 4,000 theaters, maybe it gets cut down to 2, which I'm not happy about. But again, it's really expensive. And I don't even know where before you could go and find like a really good deals, like $5 Tuesday or something, which I think some theaters still have, but even just that is a lot. And then there used to be matinee prices. Like, okay, I don't want to go Friday night where it's like $15. Let me go before 3, right? Where I can pay like $7. And even that doesn't really exist anymore. So it's been a roller coaster. So for Quentin, he believes there needs to be massive changes made across the industry. And he proclaimed that television is an inferior medium to movies. That's not fair. They serve different purposes to me. A movie is like on a massive scale, Lord of the Rings, right? Or The Proposal, romantic comedy. Whereas television, you get many different points in times of a character's life. Like you get to watch a character grow. Like a character growing in a 3-act movie is great, and it's part of the change. But watching a character get to grow over 3 or 4 seasons, it's massive. So I think movies and TV have their place. And I don't like doing the whole, what's inferior, No. What am I in the mood for? What am I feeling? What do I have time for? Movies are better for time because I'm like, great, I got 2 hours. I can commit to the story, walk through this character's life, see what's going on. Bada bing, bada boom. TV show, I'm like, oh, to get that 2-hour arc, I've got to get through 2 to 4 seasons. That's a lot more time that I personally don't have. So much as I love television, I don't get to watch it as often. But yeah, I digress. So do you guys agree with Quentin Tarantino? How do you guys feel about streaming? Like, do you guys miss watching it in theaters? Do you still go to theaters? How often do you go? At this point, it's just gotten to the point where like, I'm probably going to the theater like once every other month. Possibly. It's hard. It's hard. Next story. Dave Franco and Alison Brie are in a bonkers but wildly fun fusion of body horror and codependency angst. This is a new movie for Dave Franco, who I'm a fan of. So Together, the movie Together, follows a dysfunctional couple whose union is put to the test when strange forces overcome them. The bodily mutations in the substance left you wanting more? Well, this is a movie for you with more bone crunching, contortions, sticky goop, and stuff. Hold on. Wait, supernatural cult craziness? Okay, let me just reread that. So this movie, if you like the substance, which I just spoke about the substance, if you like the substance, this movie has even more bone crunching contortions, sticky goop, not to mention supernatural cult craziness. Damn it, I'm in. Oh my, because I enjoyed the substance. I love the substance. So, all right. So, Dave Franco and Alison Brie are playing a codependent couple going through a troubled patch while moving to a small town where the woods hide ghastly secrets. Ghastly. I love that word, ghastly. So we start the movie off with like a prologue where their searchers are looking through the forest for 2 missing hikers. And they're using dogs. And the dogs are kind of, I guess, going down into like a pit. And it's obvious they're being watched by an insidious entity. And when the dogs come back up, they start acting weird, looking at each other, being off. And then the owner finds them snarling with their bloodied faces fused together like some 2-headed beast. Okay, so given that Together is about a couple trying to repair and strengthen their bond, all right, I think we set the tone of what we're going to be expecting here. And you mentioned the substance, so all right, I'm with it. So one couple, so Millie is the woman. She prepares to leave the city for hopefully a more fulfilling teaching position, while her struggling musician partner, which is Dave Franco, has grown more distant lately. So he decided to move to a cozy little town, and things just feel a little off. Okay, so I am not myself a city girl. I am not much of a country girl. I feel like I am in that nice little in-between niche where it's like I want enough country near my city. Does that make sense? Like a little area near a city. I need there to be enough people around so that you can't get me with off things here. Now, here's what I didn't know. It says real life couple Brie and Franco. So the couple in the movie are a real life couple. Did I know that? No, probably not. Wow. Okay. So, and this was filmed in Australia and it was just released at Sundance. So I looked, it doesn't really say when it's coming, where it's coming out, but I love a good horror movie. This seems to have horror with comedic elements, maybe, possibly, which I love even more. Yes. Yes, I want to see this. I want to see this movie. So don't go in the woods. Don't go in the woods. When I was little, I lived in Pennsylvania, in Willow Grove. Shout out, peeps. And there was a woods right by my school. And I remember like not ever going really into the woods, to my knowledge. I was not that curious kid. I was like, nah, the woods are over there. I'm good. Now, I also was a kid who watched horror movies. So I had a lot of foundational things of like, what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to go to the woods. I'm not going to go camping. I'm not going to be making out in no cars. At least that's how I felt when I was younger. But, So movies that take place in the woods, there's so much good stuff there that you can do. few months ago, I watched Watchers with M. Night's daughter was the director of that movie. And I think people were saying that people didn't like it, but I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed the movie. It was good. I liked it. The ending threw me off a little bit, and maybe the twist other people saw coming, I did not. If a movie is happening in the woods, I'm kind of here for it. 100%. All right. Are you guys going to check out this movie? Let me know. It is now time for our remake reboot news of the week. Barbarian director Cregger set to make new Resident Evil reboot movie. All right, guys. Resident Evil is back in full effect again. This is the director that did that movie Barbarian with, what's his name? Justin Long. Yeah, got it. Justin Long, Bill Skarsgård, Georgina Campbell. This was like a Airbnb nightmare, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if this movie Barbarian single-handedly like affected the profits for Airbnb. Because what happens is a woman goes to stay at Airbnb and discovers that their house is not what it seems. It's like a whole secret subtunnel level where there's missing people. It's a whole thing. So, and the Airbnb was in some like abandoned neighborhood. There was like nothing else around the neighborhood. There were like houses, but no one lived there. There was nothing. I was like, nah, we would have turned right back around. Nah, I ain't gonna do it, fam. No. Did you guys like Barbarian? Because that was a really good movie. I really liked it. I didn't see it coming. There was one part where I was like, oh, okay, you're turning this person into a superhero. Well, not superhero, but like super talents. But other than that, it was really good. Like the tension, the build up, very good movie. Very well done. This is the guy that's going to do Resident Evil. So Cregger has been tapped to write and direct, right? A new movie based on Resident Evil. I don't think it's going to be connected to the previous ones. It's a complete reboot, complete reimagining, I would assume. Now, I was a fan of the Mila Jovovich ones. I think I watched, let me check. Okay, so there's Resident Evil that came out in 2002. Saw that one. Resident Evil Apocalypse, 2004. Resident Evil Extinction, 2007. Resident Evil Afterlife, 2010. And I believe that is the last one I saw. Because then Resident Evil Retribution came out in 2012. I don't recall seeing that one. And then Resident Evil, the final chapter in 2016. Which definitely didn't see it. So I think the last two Mila Jovovich movies I missed. Like the first four I was all in, and then I was tapped out by the fifth one. And then Netflix came out with, was it a movie? Resident Evil. Was it Netflix? I thought it was Netflix. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City in 2021, which I didn't even know about this one. But okay. I thought Netflix did like a series, right? Wasn't there a Resident Evil series that Netflix did, or did they do like a zombie type Resident Evil Netflix series that wasn't entirely enough, like that wasn't really Resident Evil? Because I didn't watch that one, but I heard about that one. So I kind of want to see the 2021 one because I'm looking at it right now, and the people who are in it, like I like her, Kea Scodelario. Yeah, I kind of want to see this one. Anyway, so. Reboots. What are you going to do? So they don't know anything about the story yet. So we're not sure if it's going to be just based on, about the fight against the Umbrella Corporation, if we're going to be in Raccoon City or not. But it says that it will take the title to its horror roots. All right. I remember when the games came out, because Resident Evil is based on video games. Now, I remember when the video games came out, I couldn't even watch somebody playing the video game. The video game was so scary. I couldn't even watch people playing the video game. I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. It was too much for me. No, thank you. I'm good. Oh my gosh. Also, Cregger, he didn't direct this movie, but he produced another movie, Companion, which is about a weekend getaway turns bloody and violent when a subservient android that's built for human companionship goes haywire. Okay, so another AI going crazy. Oh, and Jack Quaid from The Boys is in it. I like Jack Quaid. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, he didn't direct Companion, but he produced it, so he's had a hand in it. That's good enough for me. All right. It's always a gamble before seeing a trailer saying you'll watch a movie. But considering his track record as far as like what he did with Barbarian, and what I know of the Resident Evil franchise and what it offers and everything, I'm good for it. I want to see that. I want to check it out. I want to see what's about and what all it encompasses. Oh, and he just had another movie wrapped called Weapons with Josh Brolin. I wonder what that one's about. Is that one scary too? Let's see. Weapons. What is Weapons about? An interrelated multi-story horror epic about the disappearance of high school students in a small town. Well. Yeah, my curiosity. Now you have my attention. Okay. All right. Weapons. Okay. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's wrapped, so we'll see that. Okay. All right, Zach. All right, Mr. Cregger. Okay. You got some stuff going on. I am intrigued. Now, the screenwriter who's going to help him write this movie is the one he wrote Day Shift with Jamie Foxx. Okay. And Army of the Dead. Okay. And John Wick Chapter 4. Okay. That's quite a... All right. Who's the screenwriter? Shay Hatton. Okay. Shay Hatton. He's going to be helping to co-write this Resident Evil adaptation. Okay. All right. Let me know how it goes. Let's go. I'm here for it. Let's holler. All right. What about you guys? Resident Evil fans? Horror fans? Do you want to skip this all entirely? Are you sick of it? Are you just like, bring it on? Let me know. Okay, guys. For our current event this week, I thought instead of covering a story that we would discuss tax scams and what to watch out for 2025 because that is the season. 'Tis the season. We are jumping right into tax season, which means the scammers are going to be scamming. So, want to go over a couple quick tips with you guys and some things to look out for so that you can avoid getting scammed. All right, so let's dive into some of these tax scams that we're going to be watching out for this season. First up, AI-generated phishing schemes. Surprise, surprise. AI out here doing the Lord's work. Anyway, so this year, the scammers are expected to ramp up their use of artificial intelligence to craft highly convincing phishing emails and messages. Now, these communications, they often mimic legitimate IRS notices or correspondences from tax preparation services. And AI can generate personalized messages that include your name, your address, and other details, making the scam harder to detect. So it's important to be wary of any unsolicited emails or texts claiming urgent tax issues, especially when they're like, you pay now, you have to pay now, or are threatening any legal action. Now, the tip for that is that the IRS will never initiate contact with you via email or text. 'Tis true. 'Tis true. Always verify the authenticity of such messages by contacting the IRS directly through their official website or phone numbers. The IRS will never call you. From what I understand, because I used to work for public accountants, and one thing that was very adamant is that the IRS will never call you or email you or text you. Their correspondence is what you might call snail mail, the original G. Letters, actual mailed letters. Next up, fake tax preparer scams. These scammers pose as professionals offering low costs or expedited tax filing services. Once they gain access to your personal and financial information, though, they can file false returns in your name or steal your refund. Some fake preparers even lure victims by promising unrealistic refunds. So if it sounds too good to be true, friends, it probably is. Tip: vet your tax preparers carefully. Look for credentials such as Preparer Tax Identification Number, so the PTIN, and reviews or references from trusted sources. So, I mean, this is a time where you're going to be seeing flyers, you're going to be seeing type of thing. Like even where they're located. Now, I understand that there are professional individuals who either, they do this part-time, they work from their home, they may not have like an official office or official base. But make sure there's some kind of backlog or something, some kind of like history here that you can say, okay, this person has done this. Then they seem to have satisfied legitimate clients who aren't trying to kill them. Next up, imposter phone calls. Despite being a long-standing tactic, phone scams remain effective even now. So even with the help of caller ID and even your phone itself telling you sometimes scam likely. You guys ever get that before where you get a phone call and the number comes up, but your phone's like scam likely, kind of give you a heads up. Even with all that, scammers calling victims and posing as IRS agents to claim that they owe back taxes or penalties, they still work. They still work. So they often use fear tactics such as threats of arrest to coerce victims into making immediate payments via gift cards. Red flag. Wire transfers or cryptocurrency. Crypto boy. Some even using caller ID spoofing to appear legitimate. So here's a tip. Like I said, the IRS will never call you demanding immediate payment. If you receive such a call, hang up and report the incident to the Treasury Inspector the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, the TIGTA. Yeah, guys, the IRS is not going to call you saying, pay us. They're not going to do that. That's not how they run. That's not how they move. So if someone's calling you saying, yo, we're about to freeze your assets, blah, 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 I feel confident in saying that they're totally full of it and trying to get you. Next up, social media scams. Social media platforms have increasingly become a tool for tax scammers. Yikes. Fraudsters use fake profiles or hacked accounts to offer secret tax loopholes, claim processing shortcuts, or promote fraudulent investment opportunities. They may also post phishing links that lead to fake IRS sites designed to steal your information. Like literally, one of my friends just messaged me warning me that somebody had hacked her account. Literally just happened. These freaking people are everywhere. They're ridiculous. Let me see what they say, because when she sent me a screenshot. New York City car enthusiast, Forex trader, independent Forex trader. Okay. DM for your free mentorship ASAP. If you see this person, report this account. If it's even still up by now. Scam. So the tip for this is to be cautious about engaging with unsolicited offers or links on social media. Be very careful, especially if they promise unrealistic results. Again, guys, if it sounds too good to be true, it's, yeah, you get it. You know the saying. It probably is. Stick to official IRS channels for accurate tax information. So if it isn't irs.gov, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see it. And finally, data breaches and identity theft. So data breaches also pose a significant risk during tax season, as scammers can exploit stolen data to file fraudulent tax returns in your name. Once your identity is compromised, it can take months or even years to resolve the fallout. Tip for that is to use strong passwords and enable multi-factor authentication on accounts that store sensitive information. You may also want to consider filing your tax return early to reduce the chances of someone else filing in your name. Yeah, so one of my other friends had this happen to them like years ago, and they don't even know how it happened. They went to they lucked out because they went to go file their tax return early. They went early, so early. And when the tax preparer went to go do it, they saw that someone had already filed in their name. So, but nothing had exchanged hands yet. So they were able to intercept that, report that as fraudulent, and file their tax returns. But moving forward, what happens now for them is they always receive some kind of PIN or something from the IRS, like every year, that they have to specifically use to file a tax return based off that one incident that happened like years ago. And to this day, they don't know for sure, but there's suspicion that it was linked to, I think maybe somebody at their job or something like that. Now, again, this is years ago. They don't even work at that place anymore. I'm not even gonna mention any names because I don't know. But that is some scary stuff because as far as I know, they hadn't done anything like, you know what I mean? They hadn't filled out anything. They hadn't put a link on it, and nothing. They went straight to their normal person and had that happen. So be vigilant, my guys. Focus. Keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention to these text messages because it's like these scammers are just like, it's getting wild out here. I don't know if you guys remember, but like years and years ago, we were when they were doing, what's it called, like cold calling you with and like the cold calling wasn't scammers. It was just like annoying like companies and stuff like that who wanted to try to get your sales and everything. And there was like a do not call list that you could put your number on. And for a few sweet years, it was bliss. And you could even put your cell phone number on that list and not hear anything. But I'm guessing something didn't get renewed or some new legislation got introduced, and out of nowhere, now you get calls from like companies and scammers. Like, it's not always scammer calls. Sometimes it's just cold calling, like companies with like, oh, your solar panel, are you qualified for something or some bull crap, right? But needless to say, there is no more do not call list. There's only block, that kind of thing. You can ask to be taken off a call list, but then you're having to do it individually. In some of these places, when you ask, they just hang up the phone. They don't have to comply. And then I'm getting a lot of UPS or USPS text messages about stuff that I'm like, that's a scam. I just blocked the number because no. So be careful. These scammers are put like if they would just put this amount of effort that they put into scamming people into like actually building a legitimate business, they would probably be just as, if not more, successful and be legitimate. I guess they like the thrill or whatever. Who knows? So anyway, the more you know, guys, the better you can equip yourself and be prepared. So just be careful, with all the tips that we went over, be careful. All right. I'm just looking out. And finally, our tech story of the week. So I just saw this story and it doesn't have a lot of like footing to it, but it was very interesting. So YouTube says it's not serving hours-long unskippable ads to users with ad blockers. Wait, what? What now? All right. So basically, people who have ad blockers are reporting that while they're on YouTube, they're seeing unskippable ads that are like hours in length. Hours. Google has denied, because that's what you do. You deny. And says that this is kind of the problem with the ad blocker. So Google's like, it's not us. It was not me. It was one on man. No, it's the ad blockers. It's not us. It's them. It's the company you guys are using. They're the problem, not us. Which might be possible. So what they're saying is that YouTube does not serve minutes long, non-skippable ads. That's not their function. That's not how their company functions, at least not yet. But users are saying that they've been complaining. They're like, no, we're seeing unskippable YouTube ads ranging from a few minutes to several hours in duration. Did he just say several hours in duration? Yikes. So, Android Authority identified a number of complaints from Reddit users about the lengthy ads. Last week, one user reported seeing an hour-long advert with no option to skip. While earlier this month, another shared a photograph of an ad almost 3 hours in length. Boom. There it is. Good Lord. Wow. So the other thing is, technically the use of ad blockers is a violation of YouTube's terms of service. And they're calling advertising a vital lifeline for our creators. This is true. So I am not monetized currently. So this whole adpocalypse thing doesn't do anything for me. But I do know that ads really fund the companies who are trying to get their products, their services in front of your eyeballs are paying moolah for it, whether it's on IG or YouTube or regular cable TV. And that is also why you're seeing a lot more ad-supported tiers coming through in streaming. And while they are trying to push people, they're trying to make the no ad versions so expensive that it forces people to fall back to the ad-supported versions because they make more money on ads than they do you paying a monthly subscription service. And that's technically how things used to be. The manager of YouTube Communications is saying that, the ads are usually limited. The unskippable ads are limited to 15 seconds or less in the majority of cases. Sometimes there's 30 seconds variants with YouTube TV or 60 seconds. But there is nothing of an hour-long ad. What they're saying is when ad blockers are detected, the user is sent repeated notifications to either allow ads or subscribe to YouTube Premium, which is ad-free for now. The company reserves the right to disable playback entirely, but they say this will only happen after viewers ignore repeated requests to allow ads on YouTube. Oh, backing people in a corner. See, so they don't want you having, these ad blockers. Again, because this is how they make their money. Whether it is television, whether it is social media, YouTube, ads make the bulk. They make the bulk. Offering something for free, what's the exchange? How am I going to make money if I'm offering this to you for free? And if you don't want to pay for it, what are my options? Ads. Look at Tubi. My show, The Zombie Chronicles, is on. That is an ad-supported platform, but it started that way. It didn't start a subscription and then carry over. It started that way, let you know from the get-go, and it's got a lot of good stuff on it, and they're probably making a lot of good money. People aren't upset because this is where you met them. You didn't just offer ad-free Amazon Prime and then completely change and force your subscribers who were already paying you monthly for Prime to now accept ads. Like the least you could do was what Netflix did, where they offered a lower tier that had ads, but kept the people who were paying ad free. Amazon's like, no, we want our money now. No, you have to pay more for no ads now, which that feels like. Anyway. So one Reddit user suggests that ad blockers themselves may be to blame. So this person is on the side of Google. Google owns YouTube, if you didn't know. I feel like everyone knows by now. Preventing the skip button. It says that the ad blocker is preventing the skip button from appearing while simultaneously failing to actually block the ad. They say refreshing the page fixes the problem. So this may not be a YouTube Google issue. It may literally just be an ad blocker issue. YouTube is certainly happy to point the blame elsewhere. Viewers with ad blockers may experience a suboptimal viewing experience, as some ad blockers distort the YouTube playback experience. Let me be clear here. Not a fan of ads. No, sir. Not a fan of ads. I understand the need for them, the function, but I'm not a fan. And I actually wish there was an option sometimes with certain videos that you're watching on YouTube. Like, it'll be right in the middle of the good part or the juicy part. Like, sometimes in the middle of a sentence. And it's just cut off and you're thrown an ad. And I'm just like, if you had timed this better, I'd be less irritated right now. You should time it better. Like, at least with TV, right? Cable, whatever, right? You had whether it was a 1-hour drama or a 30-minute show, they already had breaks in designed within the show for the ad slots to go into, so it didn't feel like you were in the middle of, yes, but I've never loved. Now, if you're interested in phone service, what? It doesn't make me interested in your product. It actually makes me more annoyed. I don't know how, because I know that YouTube videos are variations. They don't really follow like a 4 or 5 act structure of like a show. But maybe if there's a way to try to do it more efficiently, less invasive. So last October, YouTube denied trying to hide the skip button on ads after users reported not seeing the usual countdown timer for the option to skip. Yeah, so you used to always be able to skip ads. And then now they started putting in ads where you can't skip. And I'm like, oh, y'all getting slick with it. All right. I see you. So the company said it was reducing elements on the ads player by moving the countdown timer to a progress bar at the bottom of the player instead, making it harder for you to find it. I see what you're up to, YouTube. Google, I see you. I feel like, as people have already said, between like YouTube and streaming services and ads and all that stuff, that we just took the long way to go back to cable, except pay more and be more annoying. Which I don't, I wouldn't want to change things, because a lot of independent creators, filmmakers such as myself, have been able to get our projects in front of more people because of platforms and streaming services. So not a hater of streaming services or platforms at all. But Yeah, these invasive ads are annoying. And I thought that YouTube had said you wouldn't be able to access them if you had ad blockers. So apparently, even though it can be a bit of, I find that maybe, new theory here, maybe they are trying to aggravate the people so much it forces them to stop using ad blockers. Like, maybe it's not necessarily the ad blocker messing up, but Google/YouTube finding a way to make the ad blocker not work properly so that users can get frustrated, annoyed, and decide to just watch YouTube without the ad blockers. It's about chess, not checkers. I guess. Do you guys use ad blockers? Let me know. I don't. I just suffer through it and just like go from there. All right. Well, you guys let me know what this and what do you guys feel about like all these like, oh God, ads being everywhere. Everywhere. I'm like losing my mind. I know it's how it used to be, but even then, again, the way it was set up and structured, they weren't so invasive. And my ads back in the day at least worked on being entertaining or funny or truly like informative in a creative way. Some of the other ads, it seems like they're just like, here, take it. Like they don't even try. You'll take it and you'll like it. Now, all that being said, when I ever do get monetized, it would be nice to have some ad revenue. Hopefully they don't see this video. Anyway, that's it for the show this week. Thank you guys so much for being with me and hanging in there and me and my goofy craziness. I look forward to breaking things down next week, and let's see how things go. Let me know, drop in the chat what you guys are watching, what's going on, what's the word, movies, TVs, news, current events. Let's talk about it in the comments. I'm here for it. All right. See you guys next week. Yeah, next week. Bye.